Today we're going to learn how to multiply fractions and mixed numbers. Multiplying fractions is something that you should have done in elementary school, but just in case you have not, we are going to start by just multiplying fractions by fractions or whole numbers, and then move into some mixed numbers. Okay, so to multiply fractions, you multiply the numerators, which are the top numbers. So you multiply, the numerators and multiply and I'm going to make this denominators. I'm going to shorten that to denom because I can't fit that in there. So you just multiply across. You multiply the top numbers, multiply the bottom numbers, and then you simplify your answer. We're not going to really be focusing on simplifying our answers in this video. Okay, so if we've got 3/7 times 1/2, we'd multiply our numerators, 3 times 1, and that equals 3. Then we do the same thing with our denominators, 7 times 2, and that's 14. So our answer would be 3/14. So if we have 1/3 times 1/5, we'd multiply 1 times 1 on top, which is equal to 1, and 3 times 5 on the bottom, which equals 15. A dot is just another way to show multiplication. I usually use the star because once we get into decimals, you don't want to use a dot because then you don't know if it's a multiply or a decimal. That's why I like to use the star the most because it doesn't get confused with anything else. Number 2, on top we've got 8 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24. On the bottom we've got 9 times 4. 9 times 4 is 36. When we have a whole number, we first need to make this whole number into a fraction. And I want to remind you, like 10 is not 10 out of 10, because if you got 10 out of 10, that's just equal to 1. We need to equal to 10. So in order to make a whole number into a fraction, we put it over 1. Because if we have ones and we've got 10 of them, that means we've got 10. So on the top, we'd have 5 times 10, which is 50. And on the bottom, we'd have 9 times 1, which is 9. At this time, we're not going to simplify. We're just going to leave them as improper or unsimplified fractions. All right, I would like you to pause the video, try these next 2 on your own, and then resume the video to check your answer. So if you're with me now, we should already have answers for 4 and 5. We're just checking. This one, we'd have 7 times 4 is 28. 28. And then 10 times 5 is 50. This we'd have to make 3 over 1, so we'd have 5 times 3 is 15. 8 times 1 is 8. So that's how we would multiply fractions by fractions or fractions by a whole number. Next, we're going to get into mixed numbers. And when we have a mixed number, we have to make it improper. So remember, to make an improper fraction, we multiply the denominator times the whole number, and then we add in that top number. So we do 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So we'd have 11. The bottom number stays the same. That denominator stays the same. So 2 3/4 is the same thing as 11/4. And I'm going to multiply that times 1/2. Now that we have just one number over another number, we can just multiply across like we did before. So 1 times 11 is 11. 2 times 4 is 8. And that would be our final answer. When we're multiplying mixed numbers times mixed numbers, we have to make them improper fractions, and I'll show you why. You cannot just multiply your whole numbers and then multiply your fractions. You will get the wrong answer if you do it that way. So we do have to make them improper first. So we'd start by doing 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Bottom number stays the same. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11/3. Then we just multiply across. 9 times 11, 5 times 3. All right, same thing for this next one. Make the improper fractions first. Actually, no, I was going to show you why it does not work. So if we simplified 99/15ths, we would get 6 wholes, because 15 can go into 99 6 times. 15 times 6 is 90, so then we'd have 9/15ths left. So if we multiply these two numbers, we're basically getting 6 and 9/15ths, which you're going to notice if we would have just multiplied our whole numbers, we would have gotten 1 times 3 is 3, and 4/5 times 2/3 is 8/15ths. So they're not the same answers. Okay, so we cannot just multiply whole numbers and then multiply fractions. Okay, make this fraction improper. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So this would be equal to 4/3. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 4 is 14/5. Multiply across. 14 times 4, if we're not sure what that is, we just stack them and multiply. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1, 5. So that'd give us 56. On the bottom, 3 times 5, 15. I'd like you to pause the video, try these last two on your own, and then resume the video to check. All right, so if you're with me now, we should already have answers for number 9 and 10. All right, first thing I've got to do is make them improper. Make sure your improper fraction matches mine. It should be 7/6. 7 times 1, 7. 6 times 3, 18. Same thing over here, making improper. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, over 2 times 4/9. 7 times 4 is 28. 9 times 2 is 18. So that is how we multiply fractions and mixed numbers.